2 weeks ago, we've seen the best 600 euros gaming build with only new parts. But today is where things get really interesting. We're going to see the best 600 euros gaming PC with used parts. Spoiler, this is going to be a ray tracing capable PC. There are two main ways to get a great used build. Buy the single parts and build the PC yourself, or get a pre-assembled PC and modify it. Let's go in order, build it yourself. Let's start with the core of this build. A Ryzen 5 3600. Before you ask why I haven't chosen Intel, let me explain. Intel CPUs are way more difficult to find at a reasonable price, especially in the used market. Intel motherboards as well are overpriced for the second-hand market. While the Ryzen 5 3600 can be found at around 100 euros, like this one right here, which is 100 euros plus 6 euros of shipping, but I mean, that's fine, I guess. With the stock cooler as well, which is okay. It's not the greatest, of course, but you'll save a good 40 to 50 euros on an aftermarket one. For around 100 euros, you get 6 cores, 12 threads, 32 megabytes of L3 cache. Oh my god, the photos are really bad from this vendor. Only 65 watts of TDP, 3.6 gigs of base clock, 4.2 gigs of boost clock, and this is still a great CPU that has many more years to live. To use this processor, you need a B450 motherboard. You can find one between 50 to 90 euros around. The one I choose is sold out, so let me have a quick look at B450. As you can see, between 50 to 90 euros. But if you're planning to buy all the parts from eBay, which is a great option in my opinion, by the way, especially for the customer service, make sure to check the description. Many motherboards are sold for parts only, which means they are broken. Double check the status and the description. As you can see right here, we have a lot of motherboards on auction. You can find great deals on auction, but you need to check them more frequently. The only thing, be aware that it needs to be second-handed or new or like used, but not for parts only. Ryzen CPUs need the highest frequency possible RAM-wise. That's why I've picked 16 gigs of DDR4 3600 MHz, 2 slots, 8 gigs each. This way we get the maximum performance possible, and for around 60 to 70 euros you can find them. These are completely new, but if you look for used parts you'll get even greater deals. As storage, we can either go with a 1 terabyte NVMe, which is one I've picked right here, for around 70 euros, or if you already have SATA SSD or an hard disk, you can always go for a 500 gigs NVMe for around 40 euros, so you'll save a buck even there. Now to the good part, the GPU. You can easily get an RTX 2060 for around 200 euros. As you can see, let's go in the sold items, and you can see 250, 290, 200, 193. These are overpriced, 198, 200. There are plenty. This is for parts only, so wait. I don't know how, but I didn't notice while I was recording the title of this article, which translated literally in English means table lamp, sailboat, neon sign, real glass, not LED, nautical light sculpture, 39 centimeters. Pretty clear, right? We can't consider this, but for 200 euros you can find great deals. If you're patient enough to wait the great deal to come, you can get your hands on an RTX 2070 for the same price. These are more difficult to find at 200 euros, but as you can see right here, second-handed, working hard, 209 euros plus 10 shipping, but I mean that's fine, for a 2070 Super. So super deal. It will take some time to find it. I will leave in the description a video benchmark for the Ryzen 5 3600 and the RTX 2060 and also 2070 combo in some games, but I can tell you that with the 2060 you will be able to play AAA games at 1080p max settings at a solid 60 frames per second, and esport titles at more than 144, and CSGO of course a lot more. But even 1340p gaming with some compromises is more than doable. For the case with a budget of 40 euros, you can find great deals. I would go with local marketplaces such as Kijiji if you live in North America, I think, Craigslist if you're in America, here in Italy, Subito or Facebook Marketplace pretty much around the world, I think, and you'll find a lot of cases, so don't worry. The only thing to keep in mind are great space to build your PC in and great airflow. If you can find a case with 3 fans included, that's even better. By the way, I will leave some examples down in the description. Lastly, the PSU. Any 650 watts is more than enough to power this build, but buy it from a reputable brand, please. Don't buy it from Super PSU or Bitcoin Miner, because they are not good quality. So something like Corsair, like this one, EVGA, Cooler Master are great options, and for around 50 euros you can get your hands on one. Let's now talk about the second method. Buy a pre-assemble and pimping it. Here things get a little bit more complicated. You will find a ton of PCs, mainly office ones. Let me look for it, and here starts a ton of different options. There are a lot of PCs with 16 gigs of RAM and an i7 or i5 of 6th gen. They have some years at this point, but you can get one for as cheap as 200 euros, so if you're on a budget, it's a really great deal. Let's take for example this one. 8 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of SSD, and an i7 6700 for 250 euros. And if you want a coupon, Regali22, the first one to watch this video and use this code will get a free discount. You need to take into account that you'll have to make some upgrades to a PC like this one. The case mainly because office cases are ugly. They have bad airflow and they are typically even small. The PSU also, since you'll most likely get like a 350 watt one included, because it's not meant for a GPU as well, and the GPU. But you need to pay attention to the kind of motherboard inside the PC. If the connectors are standard, 24 pins for the motherboard, 4 or 8 for the CPU, you're good to go. If the Mobo uses a proprietary 20-pin Mobo connector or other strange ones, you also need to take into account a new motherboard, so it may not be as worth. It depends on the price, of course, because if you can find a, let's say 150 euros for i7 6th gen 16 gigs SSD, it's still worth, in my opinion, buying it if you can find a good motherboard to pair it with. I will leave a couple of office PCs that I think are worth the price they ask, but if you have any question, comment with the specifications of the PC and the price, and I'll tell you if it's good or not, if I would buy it or if I would leave it right there. But please don't post the links. This is everything for today. If you have any suggestion, feel free to leave a comment down below. If you've liked the video, leave a like, subscribe and activate the notification bell, and I'll see you in a week. Ciao!